Hello there and welcome to Mining Corner, a program that helps you understand the latest developments happening in the country's mining sector. Today we'll be discussing mineral value addition and beneficiation, a crucial aspect of Zambia's economic development. And as you know, as experts have said, and all of us have agreed, that Zambia is endowed with vast mineral resources that include copper, cobalt, gold, gemstones, among many others. However, the country has historically exported raw materials, missing out on opportunities to add value and create jobs. On Mining Corner this week, we will shine the spotlight on the Manufacturers Association of Zambia and get insight from them on some of the turnaround, deliberate policies and moves that they have to leverage on this potential. This is Mining Corner, brought to you courtesy of ZCCMIH. Stay with us. My name is Brian Mlamba and welcome to Mining Corner. Now today we look at mineral value addition and beneficiation. I'm honored to have my special guest on the program, Michelo Maunga, policy analyst from the Zambia Association of Manufacturers, to shed more light on what is upturning on the ground regarding value addition and beneficiation in the mining sector. Good to have you on the program.
Thank you.
All right. First of all, let's get straight to the challenges that affect the country's aspirations in terms of adding value on, our raw materials and things of that sort when it comes to the mining sector. What's the submission as far as that is concerned?
Well, our largest mineral resource in terms of contribution to exports and our revenue is copper, unquestionably. But whilst we export a significant amount of raw copper, we do not export an equally high amount of refined copper, much less so value-added copper products. We are actually the largest exporter of raw copper in the world, so that puts into perspective that scenario. And then when we look at manufacturing firms, we only have a small number of companies that are adding value to copper, which can be copper wire and other products. We have about 3 or 4 companies in the entire country, which is too small to have any meaningful impact on our aspirations with respect to value addition. Recently, these few firms that are adding value to copper were experiencing challenges, particularly when Mopani and KCM were non-operational or their operations were constrained. This reduced the availability of copper on the local market. This has improved since Mopani and KCM have resumed operations. But we still do tend to find that local companies have a challenge in sourcing copper, the raw material for their products. Another challenge is that the price manufacturers pay for copper is determined by the London Metal Exchange. Now, the London Metal Exchange is very far from the Zambian market, but it has a significant influence over transactions within our domestic economy. Yeah. And the key thing about that London Metal Exchange price is that it includes a component of transportation from the mine to an LME warehouse, which does not apply for a company buying copper from Zambia, using it in Zambia. So those are some of the challenges.
All right. Let's talk about and this is an aspect that is on the lips of many people, the global green energy transition. I just wonder how the country's manufacturing sector can leverage on this, competitively, so to speak.
Yes, if we look at the metals that are required for the green transition, we have copper, cobalt, nickel, lithium, manganese, and a few others, and we have all those resources. We have the largest nickel mine in Africa. We have lithium in southern province. So we have the raw materials in abundance. If we talk of cobalt, between Zambia and the DRC, we hold 80% of the cobalt reserves in the world. So we have huge advantages. What we need to do is shift the narrative from focusing on raw exports towards value-added products. Now, with the green transition, the value chain we're focusing on is the electric vehicles segment. Now, we signed an MOU with the Democratic Republic of Congo for the establishment of a special economic zone for the production of EV batteries. A pre-feasibility study was done, but progress on that has still slowed, has since slowed. Yeah, so we need to accelerate those initiatives. All right,
let's talk about, as we wind up, I'm afraid we have to wind up, but there's this shift towards a green economy. You know, how are manufacturers ensuring that this is inclusive and beneficial for the local community, especially, you know, these communities that are found around areas that house the mining sector or mines? Yes. To be obvious.
So as the Zambia Association of Manufacturers, we work with artisanal small-scale miners. We are currently undertaking a project in partnership with Action Aid Zambia, and what we are endeavoring to do is formalize operations of artisanal small-scale miners in different catchment areas around the country, because we have identified that the levels of formalization are quite low, and this is affecting the ability of host communities to benefit substantially from the mineral resources.
All right. Well, I'm afraid we have to leave it here.
Okay.
But thank you very much for coming to you and for offering your submissions. And I think they'll go a long way in, you know, guiding the banter and, of course, the conversations around the role of manufacturers in trying to ensure that we have value-added products coming from the mining sector. Thank you very much indeed for your time.
Thanks, Brian.
You're still watching Mining Corner. Now, obviously, there's so much to look forward to. There's more interaction that will be coming through as we progress on the show. But let's take a very short trip to Ndola Lapidary, one of the key centers conducting training on gemstone polishing and jewelry making. It's a very interesting narrative, and I think you will find it interesting. Take a look.
Zambia ranks among the world's leading gemstone producers. In 2022, Zambia exported $403 million in precious stones, positioning it as the 7th largest exporter globally. That same year, precious stones were the 4th most exported product from Zambia. Zambia being a key supplier of gemstones for jewelry manufacturing, the biggest challenge and opportunity lie in adding value locally. On Mining Corner, we visit the Gemstone Processing and Lapidary Training Center in Ndola, a key institution in the gemstone value addition chain in the country.
We have 2 approved curriculums. We have the gemstone cutting and polishing and the jewelry manufacturing curriculum. But at the moment, we are only able to provide training in gemstone cutting and polishing. But we are very hopeful that come next year, we'll have even this other course on board. And maybe probably we may have to come up with a dedicated gemology course when we have the requisite equipment. So we anticipate to have at least 3 independent courses in the near future.
The role that the Lapidary Center plays in building expertise in the gemstone and jewelry industry is crucial for the growth of the industry. Having a skilled workforce in developing unique Zambian jewelry designs and fostering continuous innovation can significantly enhance the lapidary and jewelry industry.
In the lapidary sector, at the moment, we are trying hard to do with what we have, but I know for a fact that before the end of this year, we'll have enough for training and enough even to do the value addition as a service to the public. If you feel that you are too old, I must tell you that you are not yet old. Come on board. Come and ask us what you want us to help you with, and we'll give you the dedicated kind of training, demand-driven, to give you what you need to know about gemstone. And for the small-scale miners, I think let me take this opportunity to talk to you about those so-called waste materials that you throw away every day. They are not waste. Remember, the whole world today is talking about circular economy. The waste that you have to us can be added value and bring revenue to your household and to all nations.
Value addition to our Zambian gemstones will increase the sector's contribution to the country's national revenue. This requires concerted efforts from various key stakeholders to channel more investment in the semi-precious and precious stone industry through skills enhancement, technology advancement, among others. This is Mining Corner.
Welcome back, and thank you very much for staying with us. Interesting to see that the Ndola Lapidary is championing the drive to ensure that our gemstones are value added for us to get the most of our precious stones. You're still watching Mining Corner. Now, we're getting to a very interesting interaction, because one of the key advantages of value addition on our gemstones and our minerals is that one gets to maximize the value from a polished stone compared to selling it in its raw form. And that is going to be the thrust of our next interview with Gertrude Piri, Managing Director at Makololo Holdings Limited. She is a seasoned miner and jewelry manufacturer. It's good to have you on the program.
Thank you very much. Thank you.
So this is a raw stone, all right? And this is the product, the finished product. This stone, value has been added to produce this product here. I just wonder, as a jewelry manufacturer, how would you describe the availability of raw materials needed for, to try and form gemstones and precious minerals and metals like silver and gold?
Oh, thank you very much. Actually, before we even talk about the value-added product, just to produce the rough one, we've been facing quite a lot of challenges. All right. Especially in the ASM sector, the small-scale mining sector. Yeah. Because in most instances, I'm sure our colleague from the manufacturing is going to experience that as they go around. Because most of the small-scale miners are still using pick and shovel. So as a result, you find that the demand for the stones, yes, the demand is there, but usually when you get a big order as small-scale miners, that's when you now panic and look for equipment to hire and all to extract. But availability, it's there, but not to the level where you expect to find it at any given time. All right. And especially because most of the rough stones have been bought from the country, and containers have been going out to China in rough form, which I think this time around, when we look at value addition, we're now looking the other way of doing business. We're trying to entice them to help us set up, cutting and polishing centers here. We acquire the equipment from them because it's been very, very difficult, as a business person. Most of the times we've had to go to the Ndola Lapidary to have stones cut. And of course, there are other jeweler cutters like Kokowe. There's also a young lady, Sylvia. They also help us to cut. But again, when you've got an order, you need to have to supply on time. Yeah. And if maybe they're using not the state-of-the-art equipment, it takes time for you to, even just to make this collection. Yeah. It takes, a few weeks maybe for me to have those stones cut.
Just share with me, in comparison just selling these stones in their raw form and supplying this finished product, the difference in terms of value or what you get as somebody trading, when you compare how much you trade in this raw form and the finished product, share with me the difference.
Oh, there's a very big difference. All right. You imagine me carrying a container of these. Yeah. Yeah. And it's high volume. But what I'll realize out of it is not going to be so much. But if I carry these, you imagine me carrying these in a suitcase. The value of this is far much different from the value of that. This will be measured in kgs, and then the cut and polished will be measured in according to the carats. Mm-hmm. So meaning that even the value changes drastically, and we're encouraging, especially the local jewelers, mm-hmm. to also up their game, to get state-of-the-art equipment. And maybe through this program, I hope the Ministry of SME is listening. They should try and encourage people to bring in the equipment duty-free, zero-rated. At least it will help us to go a very long, long way.
All right. And when you look at the, because I know that you've been in this business for quite some time. You're a seasoned, business miner and jewelry manufacturer. When you compare what we produce as a country and what comes out from elsewhere, what can we do to ensure that we come up with products that will be able to compete on the international space?
Again, it comes back to the equipment. Mechanization is very, very, very important. Right. If you look at our local market, we've got jewelers like the Jewel of Africa, Jagoda, Bobili Gems. If you go in their factories, they've got state-of-the-art equipment. So it's the sad story the other way around. Yeah. We have the smaller machines, and then even the production levels are quite low. All right. So I think at this point in time, I would like to just urge my colleagues out there to take the opportunity to try and acquire that state-of-the-art equipment so that we're able to also provide and compete on the international market.
Excellent. Yeah. To take our point from this interaction, we don't have enough time, but what do you think for you is that one point that our viewers must go with, so to speak, when it comes to this interaction?
I think most importantly for me is the Zambians, especially the mindset when it comes to gemstones. The culture of gemstones and jewelry, it's not really there. Especially the men, they don't buy jewelry for their loved ones, including the women. They can buy cufflinks for the men, key holders. But the culture of just appreciating what God has given us in terms of the mineral resources, we don't really value it, to that extent where when you compare to other countries that don't even have them, they really, treasure them. Right. So I would like to urge everybody out there, please buy the gemstones. We also have produced a small-scale miner's handbook for Zambia, of which I'm the local consultant for the Pan-Af-Geo. This handbook will give you all the information on small-scale mining, value addition, geological information, everything you need to know about mining.
Excellent. I want to thank you very much, Gertrude, for coming through and wish you the best of luck as you ensure that in the jewelry industry, value addition is enhanced for us to get the most from our precious stones. Thank you very much for coming through.
Thank you very much. Thank you.
Interesting interaction, and I hope that you and I can, make the change and begin to add value to our precious stones for us to get the best and the most from the stones that we have in the country. Up next on Mining Corner, mining news in 60 seconds. That is our mining news in 60 seconds on Mining Corner. Up next on the show, let's find out how much you know about different aspects concerning our mining sector in our quiz. interesting questions, just trying to see how much you know about the various aspects that account for the country's mining sector. And so with those questions, the following are the individuals who got the answers, or the questions if you like, correct. And so each and every episode brings to your countenance information around the mining sector. So I hope that you will have more information coming through next week as you join us for yet another exciting edition of Mining Corner. And so the cameras have done their job. I have done my job. What can we say? Let's do whatever we can to ensure that we transform the country's mining sector. My name is Brian Mulamba. Thanks for watching. Bye-bye.